I think the best family discussion that you guys could have had together is when your children was asking you, why don't you, your mother and father, why don't y'all get along? And why don't y'all do what the other mothers and fathers do? You know what I'm saying? And when you never really talked about it, you never addressed it. You could talk about anything with your kids, but when they pose that scenario to you, you never got around. You know, sometimes your kids be like, why? And you don't never talk about it to them. And that probably really would set them free. If you explain that part of life that you don't never explain to them, where you tell them to stay in the child's place and you're not going to discuss that with them, go to your room or find something to do. You know, you don't. That's what grown-ups talk about and stuff. What if the Lord was going to bless you? If you was man or woman enough to go ahead and face it and let your kids' mind be at peace or whatever, and tell them how to solve that equation instead of having them thinking that you too chicken, you know what I'm saying? You know, you fearful to tell them why you not doing this or why you are doing it. You know? You never discussed it with them. And when they was younger, they asked you all the time. And the older they got, they just stopped asking you because they had to learn it from outside of the house. You know what I'm saying? They finally learned that. They finally learned about the scenario, but they had to learn it from the streets though, because you never discussed it with them. But you love your kids. Nobody's gonna love your kids like their parents. But the lesson that they really needed to learn, they asked you about it and you never told them. You gotta ask yourself, how mature are you? You know, when you can't tell your kids the truth about something they really need to know. So they find some friends from the streets, you know, probably in the gang, probably doing some stuff that they really don't need to be doing. And that's who they learning their most valuable lesson from. And guess what? Now they BFF. They call them their best friend now. One time it was a complete stranger. Now that they taught them that lesson that you never taught them, that they asked you about several times, now they said that that's their best friend. You know what I'm saying? Best friend out of all the people on the planet. And baby, we talking about some bad behavior, baby. Bad conduct. Baby. Best friend. And you gotta tell them that you should find better friends than that. I can't believe you associate with them badass children. They don't honor their parents. They got bad behavior. They into all kind of devilment. But they never really told you why they're their friends. They're friends because they explained to them something that they really wanted to know about. You know what I mean? And don't tell your mom and dad I told you how this go. But they felt like they was liberated, felt like they were slaves for 400 years. And like Abraham Lincoln came and set them free. That's how they felt like. That's how your kids felt and they became their friends. And hell yeah, it was bad association now, bad as hell. It's bad association compared to the things that you let them do and get away with. Because this family do everything that you say. Everything you say not to do. The family that they learn this from, they do any and everything. Just like Amsterdam. You know, just like the internet. Anything you want to find out about, that's what they practice in their house. All those things. You know? So next lifetime, if you ever make it back to this planet, just try to remember, make a mental note of it. That next time your kids, damn, I remember this from somewhere. And your mind tell you that, nah, you know we're not going to talk about that. You know what I'm saying? Remember this next time, if you make it back and live again, that you definitely going to tell your kids the things that they ask you so they don't be friends with the enemy, who you consider the enemy. You know? But they befriended them because you didn't tell them things that they wanted to know and they learned them from the streets. You know, instead of S-T-R-E-E-T, it's S-K-R-E-E-T. They learned it from the street because you didn't teach them. Learned that stuff from the streets, man. Shit. On the scrimp. And that's not S-T-R-E-N-G-T-H. It's scrimp. S-K-R-E-N-G-T-H. And you just remember that. You know? And just try to just jot it down and try to remember it next lifetime if the Lord give you another chance to live.